Hey, hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of the MoneyGraden. And today it's Friday. Yes, and I want to talk about a really fun subject specifically about a guy who wrote a book, and then some of the things that he talks about I happen to agree with very much. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. So the guy's name is James Altucher. Altucagr, I believe. James Altucher. He wrote a book. He wrote several books, by the way. One of the books he wrote is called Choose Yourself. I love the title of this book, Choose Yourself. So a couple of highlights about the premise of the book, and then what essentially his recommendations are. So he talks about four pillars to success. He believes that if we just focus on these four things or areas of our life, everything else, money, success, everything else will follow. It's just going to flow in. Also, he talks about that if we don't, or if we miss out on any one of these pillars, we are not going to be our best self, our best version of ourselves. Therefore, we're not going to perform at the very best that we can. Therefore, it's not going to produce the very best results. Therefore, it's not going to give us what we really want. So a couple of things about James. James is a guy who in the 90s became extremely wealthy. He built a very successful company by building websites basically for the entertainment industry, for the Disney company, for different other entertainment companies, for studios, for famous artists. He was basically the go-to guy to build their website. And he built an extremely successful company with this. And then he sold it. He sold his company for like $50 million. But he still wasn't feeling very fulfilled. He still couldn't figure out why something was missing. So he started spending his money. And he spent like $1 million a month. Like he couldn't spend his money fast enough. And literally within like 15 months, he was out of money. He had not a penny. So then he set out to do it again. Then he built a few companies again. He built one company. And now this time he sold it for $20 million. And then again, the same thing happened to him. So now he knew that he knew really well, he knew how to make money. He figured that one out. But yet he still couldn't figure out how to be happy. So once again, he started spending his money and he couldn't spend it fast enough. And again, within less than 2 years, he was broke. He became so broke that he didn't even have money to buy diapers for his child. And he talks about it very openly, that he called his parents asking them to borrow a few $100s so he can buy diapers, and his parents said no. His parents were upset with him that this senseless game that he was playing in life, that why are you building all these companies and then you're just spending all the money, senselessly, instead of being more smart about your money. Once you built them, how do you sustain it? And he was upset at his parents that they wouldn't give him a few $100s. Also, he talks about, it's interesting that we have to be very careful the meaning that we give to money. What meaning do we give it? Because he said that he didn't speak to his parents. He got really upset with them. And then 6 months later, his dad passed away from a stroke or a heart attack, I think. And he talks about it openly, how he regrets that. And then he warns us about, be very careful the meaning that we give to money, because he equated money with love. He got mad at his parents. He said, well, if they don't want to give me money, they must not love me. So he got really upset with them, when in fact that wasn't the case. So just be money is very important. None of us were not talking that it's not. It's very important, but we always have to be very careful about the meaning and how do we handle money, and what importance does money have in our life. So with that said, so now he feels he finally figured that out, and he rebuilt his companies, and he's very wealthy now. But now he's just taking a different approach. And one of the things that he learned from all these years, all these decades of making a lot of money and spending it all, he basically says these are the four things that are the most important. And if we focus, and he himself was an experiment and he went through it. He says if we focus on these four things, everything else will follow. Money will come to us from places that we can't even expect. and everything else, abundance, success, relationships will follow. And the 4 pillars that he calls them are we have to focus on our emotional health, our spiritual health, our mental health, and our physical health. Right? So emotional health, I get very emotional, and sometimes there are things that really bother me. So it's very, very important that we figure out our emotional health, how to be more balanced emotionally, how making sure that we don't go from high to lows, right? Making sure that our emotional health is taken care of. Then spiritually, it's your faith, whether is it your faith in God, in the universe, in yourself, whether you meditate, whatever. Make sure that you find that really right spiritual balance for yourself, and you actually can breathe. You actually have a very balanced life. You actually have a really good discipline with the time that you do in your day, that you don't work 20 hours and then you get all stressed out. Mental health, of course, need I say more? It's very important. Depression, when depression could hit in. Sometimes even people that make a lot of money, they get depressed. Or when they don't make a lot of money, they get depressed. So be very careful. Be very careful how you pay attention. And don't just, when you feel depression, coming on, don't just go and get a prescription and numb it with a pill and call it a day. Try to spend some time and figure out what is the root cause. What is the root cause of that depression? Where does it come from? I know for me, I immediately go to food. Whenever I start becoming a little bit depressed over some things that are not go, I know I eat sugar. So that's a sign for me, like, hello, wake up, something's not right. And this also actually kind of rolls into the 4th pillar, which is our physical health. So again, the physical health is nutrition and exercise, right? We have to make sure that we sleep well, we get enough sleep, we work out, we exercise, and we eat healthy. I don't think anybody can say that if you eat a bunch of sugar and you eat a bunch of junk food that you're still healthy and you're feeling good. Maybe if you're very young and you have a very high metabolism, but I guarantee you long term it's not sustainable. So the 4 pillars, emotional health, spiritual health, mental health, and physical health. He uses the analogy of the airplane, which I really love. Again, and in many cases when I listen to different people talking about that, written books or sharing their lessons that they learned, they all use this analogy of when on the airplane, right? If something goes wrong, they tell you need to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can help others. And that is just so true for life in general. If we care about people, if you want to be able to help others, whether they're our children, our family, co-workers, people that work for you, business partners, etc., friends, if you want to be able to provide value in the world and help others, you gotta be able to help yourself first. If you can't help yourself, you cannot help anyone. You can't help anyone. So, but if we focus on these four things, that way we're going to bring ourselves to a more well-balanced life. We're going to be happier. We're going to find gratitude. We're going to be more joyful. And now we're going to be able to see clearer. And he promises, and I actually believe it a lot, that everything else will flow from there, money and everything else. So focus on yourself. Put your own oxygen mask on first, and then you can tend to others. Hope that helps you guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate all the views. Provide me your comments, feedback, questions if you have. And with that, have a fantastic weekend.